This page is the front cover of Saturn Fan Magazine. The cover features artwork and mentions of several games. The House of the Dead, Vampire Savior, and even The Lost One are highlighted as spring releases. Other mentioned titles include Dragon Force 2, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden, Burning Rangers, a pro baseball team game, Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Ambition, Super Robot Wars F, and Castlevania, Symphony of the Night. Also featured are Radiant Silvergun, Fighting Vipers 2, Virtual on Oratorio Tangram, and Sega Rally Championship 2. There's mention of the games Chaos Seed, a Causal, Panzer Dragoon RPG, Winter Heat, and SD Gundam G Century S. The magazine issue is from February 27, 1998. The next page features the game Real Sound 2, Kiri no Orgel, Mist Organ, slated for release in June 1998. The cover art is on a blue background. A note warns, "Warning! This is a really scary software." The page also includes the Warp Inc. address and website. This page features the horror visual novel Dukoku Soshite for the Sega Saturn, scheduled for release on February 26, 1998, priced at 6,800 yen. It highlights a special package with 3 premium bonuses: setting artwork, a mini-drama CD, and special trading cards. Plus, there are 2 extra premium goods to win, which are an original telephone card and mousepad. The page also mentions the cast, including Miki Nagasawa, Tsumugi Usawa, and Yuriko Yamaguchi, among others. The next page is a content page for the magazine. It features Detective Jinguji Saburo, Yume no Owari ni, and a promotion for a Mini Cooper giveaway celebrating the series' 10th anniversary. The contents include walkthroughs for The House of the Dead, Vampire Savior, and Eve the Lost One, plus a Sega Dynamic preview section featuring Dragon Force 2, Burning Rangers, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden, and Sega Touring Car Championship. There's also a Continue to Report section with games like Mobile Suit Gundam, Giran's Ambition, and Riven. New releases are previewed, including G-League Jikyu, Anu no Striker, and Pro Yakyu Team Otsukuru, while other features cover impressions, upcoming releases, and Saturn Dream. Additionally, it lists Saturn software release dates and includes indices and previews for upcoming issues. There are articles on Aoyu Sho Chokuzen Arcade Hits Now and Dosei no Ukoku, covering game-related news, ranking streets, and reader-submitted content. The next page is a special feature on the Saturn version of The House of the Dead, HOD, focusing on its appeal. It highlights the game's attempt to faithfully recreate the thrills and speed of the arcade version, emphasizing the intensity of the zombies and the synchronized gameplay. The Saturn version aims to capture the essence of the original, despite the graphical limitations compared to the Model 2 arcade hardware, showcasing Stage 1 and the chariot battle. The review notes blood effects are still present, and touches on the game's difficulty and enemy behavior, and includes information such as the release date of March 26th, Sega as the developer and publisher, a price of 5,800 yen, it's a gun-shooting game, is for all ages, features 1 candela and 2-player simultaneous play. This page delves into one of the branching paths in Stage 1 of The House of the Dead on the Sega Saturn, specifically the right route. It highlights how player choices affect the game's progression, showcasing this specific path as easier and shorter, making it suitable for beginners. The walkthrough starts from the mansion entrance, leading to the fountain and front door. It emphasizes the initial scene, where saving a researcher affects the number of zombies encountered. Further along, rescuing a researcher being attacked on a bridge determines the course taken. The guide also notes Sophia's abduction by a bat-like creature after being found injured near the fountain. Additionally, the page touches on the inclusion of attract demos and in-game demos in The House of the Dead. These demos provide story introductions, character details, and even show gameplay segments, and notes how saving people triggers some mid-game demos. The demo showcases the story of Logan, Sophia, and Dr. Curian, along with enemy types. The next page focuses on The House of the Dead for the Sega Saturn. It details the confrontation with the Chariot boss and discusses the fate of Sophia. In the boss battle, Chariot is heavily armored, except for a weak point on his right chest. After taking enough damage, he sheds the armor, becoming vulnerable. Defeating him clears Stage 1, and there is a demo of Sophia dying. Logan and Daig are distraught. They resolve to avenge Sophia by confronting Drive Kurian. The page then examines the Saturn version's graphical enhancements, including the bullet trails. It mentions the game's effects when hitting enemies or taking damage, noting that the Saturn version retains these effects. It also highlights the Virtua Cop Special Pack, which includes a playable demo of The House of the Dead. Finally, the page discusses the game's camera work and how it improves the player's sense of immersion. This page features Vampire Savior, the Lord of Vampire, known internationally as Darkstalkers 3, for the Sega Saturn. The magazine promises that the Saturn version will be available soon. The magazine has gotten hold of a sample room and is closely examining the system. The page highlights the 18 Darkstalkers characters, focusing on Jeddah, who is resurrected in the demon world, needing a vessel for souls. There's also new characters, including Donovan, Phobos, Huitzil, and Pyron. Donovan uses the magic sword De Rake and can call down lightning during his special attack. Phobos can select from 2 jump trajectories, and Pyron can summon a doppelganger to confuse his opponent. The magazine reviewer was impressed with the graphics and sounds, claiming they are as good as the arcade version. The reviewer praises the short loading times. It seems that the 4 MB RAM cartridge is being used to its full capability. Also shown are character portraits for Victor, Jeddah, Dimitri, Felicia, Garou, John Talbane, Zabel, Lord Raptor, Anakaris, Morrigan, Baby Bonnie Hood, QB, Sasquatch, Lilith, Bishamon, Lele, Shenko, Huitzil, Pyron, and Donovan. This Sega Saturn game guide details the Vampire Savior, the Lord of Vampire combat system. Building on the original Vampire Savior, it features unique elements like the impact damage gauge and chain combos. Players use Dark Force for powerful X attacks, with characters like Boletta having notable anti-air moves. The special stock gauge fuels reversal attacks, and the guide explains Isa's and X special moves. A unique health system alternates between green, full, and red, damaged health, with depleting red health leading to round loss. Counterattacks, guard cancels, and intricate chain combos, including air chains, are crucial for success in battle. The next page showcases Eve the Lost One, an adventure game coming to the Sega Saturn. It emphasizes the game's use of lucid motion animation, boasting over 30 minutes of animated scenes integrated into the story. The page highlights scenes such as Marinari rushing to meet Kyoko in a car, and the fluidity of the animation due to the heavy use of cuts. Screenshots showcase key animation sequences, including a scene in a showplace and a TV broadcast featuring Prisha from Eltidia. The reviewer emphasizes the quality of the animation and states it helps to enhance the story. The page also lists game details, including the release date, developer, price, genre, and number of creds. This page delves into a scenario from Eve the Lost One, focusing on the character Snake and how he descends into a dark world after a simple act of curiosity leads to a bombing. The game begins in World Import Tower, where the player, controlling a character yet to become Snake, plants a bomb out of mere curiosity. He learns how to make the bomb online and disguises it in a bag. The page highlights his unexpected reaction to the bomb's power, exceeding his expectations and causing significant damage. The page describes Snake's initial shock and horror, leading him to flee the scene. He encounters a woman named Kyoko Kirino, who has been injured in the explosion. Later, he comes across a youth who has died. The text suggests that Snake is not connected with the youth's death. At home, he receives a mysterious voicemail from someone calling himself Adonis, taking the form of a teddy bear, who knows about the incident and coerces him into becoming Snake. Adonis essentially blackmails Snake into cooperation and hints at further crimes, always lurking in the background. The next page features Kirino Kyoko from Eve the Lost One, and details her involvement after a bombing incident. Kyoko, a new investigator at JCIA, National Investigation Bureau, begins her day waking up to a call from Chief Kono. Intending to enjoy her day off, she heads to World Import Tower. While there, she meets Suzuta Natsumi at a restaurant and explores the boutiques. But a sudden explosion turns her world upside down. She sees a figure resembling Snake as she ends up investigating the death of researcher Seno Yasuo at a biology research lab. The lab is located in Genesis SeaWorld, where Kyoko meets Sakai Ayano. This page focuses on the Sega Saturn game Dukoku Soshite, also known as Lament of the Innocent, highlighting its adventure gameplay. The page provides a basic system overview, emphasizing exploration of a haunted mansion and the need to solve puzzles to escape. It explains that the story changes, and the ending varies depending on the player's actions. The main character explores the mansion, encounters other girls imprisoned there, and solves various traps. Key gameplay elements include searching rooms using a click and command interface, solving puzzles to open doors, and finding items. The game features 5 commands: the frequently used item command, and commands for moving, leaving, talking, and a save function. The page shows examples of puzzles and obstacles, like a locked door, a 15-piece puzzle, a broken pipe, and a piece of gum stuck to a shoe. The next page continues the coverage of Dukoku Soshite, delving deeper into the narrative and character interactions. The main characters find themselves trapped after a bus accident. The protagonist teams up with fellow students, Izumi and Chisuna, to explore the mansion. They also meet another student named Ki. The page highlights different scenarios and encounters, like discovering a corpse, dealing with the lecherous old man named Kamita, and finding a blonde girl named Norma and her maid, Shirakawa. There is also a scene where Kazusa finds Suzune, covered in oil, and offers to find her clean clothes. The game seems to heavily rely on solving puzzles and making decisions that affect the storyline. It also touches on mini-games and secrets, referencing a bathing event that can be unlocked if the player performs certain actions. There is also a section dedicated to the TDS points, which are special events in the game. This page focuses on Dukoku Soshite and delves into the gameplay and story elements. The protagonist continues to explore the mansion, unlocking doors and partnering with Kai, although choosing whether to partner has consequences. There's a scene where the protagonist unexpectedly witnesses Kazusa changing clothes after she gets covered in oil, and the story progresses to include a room full of clocks and awards. The story continues, with Kazusa finding herself confronted by Kamita, and Chizuna confronting him about his behavior, and there is a rescue event for Chisuna. There are also multiple branching paths depending on who the protagonist chooses to work with: Norma, Kamita, or alone. Partnering with Norma leads to receiving a cryptic English note, and the section discusses Kamita and his adult amusements. There is also a minigame involving Itsuki and Chisuna, where Itsuki drops a souvenir and gets embarrassed. This page features the Sega Saturn version of The White Witch, or Heroic Legend 2i. The page highlights character designs by Kazuhiko Soeta, known for his work on Ryu Knight and Record of Lodoss War. The game boasts high-quality animated cutscenes supervised by Soeta himself, totaling over 20 minutes. The game's scenario is brought to life by a cast of 15 voice actors. The storyline focuses on a journey by the young Julio and his childhood friend Chris. There are screenshots of game locations, like the inside of dungeons. The game uses a command-based battle system, and a quarter view is used for the map. This page serves as a preview for Dragon Force 2, focusing on the 8 rulers central to the story, set 500 years after the original Dragon Force. The page introduces the characters: Eberus of Highland Kingdom, son of the king and queen; Shen of Topaz Kingdom, who forms an army to fight oppression and tyranny; Bart of Fendaria Kingdom, born to a human and a Dogel; Gungus of Bosak Kingdom, who protects nature; Quok Sadis of Tradnor Kingdom, looking for his father; Larachini of Moon Palace Kingdom, born a queen; Adulbach of Tristan Kingdom, whose persona changes after an accident; Kaede of Izumo Kingdom, who took the throne when 20 years old. It also includes a prologue summarizing the events following the original game, mentioning the 8 warriors who brought peace to Legendra, and the goddesses Peristria's departure, setting the stage for new conflicts. The game is a simulation RPG coming in March. The next page features a preview of Burning Rangers, highlighting missions 1 and 2. It introduces Sho Amabane, a 21-year-old character who joined the Burning Rangers after being rescued from a disaster. The preview covers the game's story, showcasing key scenes from the early missions and a training mode, designed to teach players the game's mechanics. The training mode covers basic operations, perspective changes, door mechanics, jumping, and emergency evasions. Mission 1, Fallen Memory, is previewed, focusing on navigating the environment, rescuing survivors, and dealing with enemies. The preview also mentions a challenging section involving darkness and a two-tiered environment where direction can be easily lost. The page highlights confronting a giant plant-like enemy at the lowest level, requiring players to destroy its core to restore the computer system. This page continues the Burning Rangers preview, focusing on Mission 2, Silent Blue. The story involves rescuing research scientists and investigating a disaster at an underwater marine park. The difficulty is increased compared to Mission 1, with fire attacks and underwater sections adding to the challenge. Players encounter and rescue an injured dolphin named Ilka. The preview highlights show Antilles' thoughts during the mission, where they rescue survivors and face unexpected dangers. The page details how Ilka assists by leading Show to the lowest level of the park. Traps and robot enemies are encountered along the way. The climax is a battle against a giant fish that caused the disaster. The page notes that underwater combat is disadvantageous. The next page is a preview for Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden, for the Sega Saturn. It teases the arrival of a new transfer student, Mana Kirishima, and explores her relationship with Shinji Ikari. The game is described as an adventure title, where players experience the story from Shinji's perspective. The gameplay is simplified, focusing on commands like look, talk, and move to navigate and interact with the environment. The page also includes screenshots of different game scenarios and characters. The page shows the release date, developer, price, genre, and other details of the game, mentioning that the game comes on 2 creeds and is 85% complete as of February 3rd. Ward. This page delves deeper into the game Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden, focusing on the character Mana Kirishima and her impact on Shinji. It explores how Mana's kindness provides Shinji with a sense of peace he hasn't felt before. This triggers jealousy in Asuka, leading to conflicts, even physical altercations in the cooking classroom. The page highlights key scenes, such as Mana giving Shinji a pendant, Asuka destroying Shinji's Walkman, and Shinji seeking advice from Ryoji Kaji on how to interact with Mana. It also points out the subtle changes in character expressions within the game, particularly for Mana, Shinji, and Asuka. The article notes Mana's usually cheerful nature, Shinji's increasing brightness, and Asuka's volatile reactions. We see images of the character Rei and some supporting characters. The next page features 2 games, Sega Touring Car Championship and Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Ambition. The Sega Touring Car Championship section announces the second Global Net event, highlighting that the event features a slightly modified version of a standard circuit and will take place on February 14th. The article describes how to participate in the event via the Global Net event option and sending your result. It also promotes a time attack contest in collaboration with several Sega Saturn magazines. The Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Ambition section focuses on basic gameplay strategies for both the Zeon and Earth Federation sides. It emphasizes that player choices can significantly alter the course of the game compared to the historical events of the anime, showing a portrait of Giren Zabi. The article provides a summary of the game's core mechanics, mentioning the importance of using units and characters effectively. This page continues the Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Ambition strategy guide, offering tips for both Zeon and Federation players. It covers expanding your front lines, capturing bases, and utilizing characters. The guide emphasizes careful resource management, strategic deployment, and the importance of assembling forces effectively to conquer enemy bases. It suggests using different tactics, like using Zeon's advantage in space, and considering the terrain. The piece also highlights the game's various character interactions and memorable dialogue scenes, stating that the game has many of Zeon's famous quotes. Finally, it touches on the tactical battles that occur when attacking key locations, where players engage in smaller-scale combat. The next page dives deeper into gameplay strategies for Mobile Suit Gundam, Giren's Ambition. It covers the flow of battles, emphasizing that Zeon and Federation forces differ significantly from the start. For Zeon, the priority is a swift Earth invasion using their mobile suits, starting with Operation Odessa. Resource management is key, alongside quick mobile suit development. Effective use of the Zaku is noted, emphasizing its versatility in both close combat and air defense. The guide also touches on the importance of continuous research and development of new weapons and variations, recommending investment in specific technologies. For the Earth Federation, the guide emphasizes that players will be on the defensive, suggesting immediate focus on Versus Project. Building the Gundam is critical. While initially outnumbered, the Federation's advanced technology offers hope, with the core fighter system highlighted as a unique feature, allowing pilots to escape and survive even if their mobile suit is destroyed. The page also compares the core characteristics of Zeon and Federation, highlighting the differences in initial resources, unit availability, and overall strategic approach. The page contains a table showing the resource costs and deployment options for each side, and also features several screenshots demonstrating the tactics and strategies that it mentions, the various interfaces and deployment options for both sides, to show the player the difference in strategic gameplay. This page introduces Pia e Yukoso, a summer romance simulation game set in a family restaurant, where the player works a summer job and develops relationships with heroines. The game features a mini-game system and emphasizes the character designs and costumes, with 3 initial costume choices available. There are 9 heroines to interact with, including an original character for the Sega Saturn version. The page shows each of the potential love interests, including manager Shihu Kanazuki, Saori Imai, the Itoko teacher Seina Kitagawa, Satomi Morihara, the junior Kyoko Kuga, the older sister figure Reika Kokubo, the girl who loves stuffed toys Yukari Tachibana, and the part-time waitress Yukiko Kawai. The game focuses on the events between Satomi Morihara and the junior Kawai, and the story is about the summer job. The next page focuses on the game Pia e Yukoso, depicting a summer romance sim where the protagonist works at a family restaurant and develops relationships with various heroines. It details the gameplay mechanics, emphasizing how the player can improve their character stats, like appearance, kindness, and academic ability, through part-time work and free-time activities. The game features 7 types of jobs the player can undertake, influencing which stats increase. The page also mentions potential events with heroines, which can be triggered based on the chosen job and location. The page also features some of the heroines and offers a pre-order campaign that includes a calendar and a premium poster for early adopters. This page features a preview of Super Robot Wars F Final, highlighting the game's upcoming release date of April 23rd. The article dives into the Ideon gauge, a key element in the game. This gauge measures the Idea's power and affects the availability of powerful weapons, like the Ideon gun and Ideon sword. The gauge has several stages, with the unit's status screen indicating the current level. The Idea's power manifests in different ways, influencing the unit's capabilities, and potentially leading to a idea activation state, where the unit's power becomes limitless. The page emphasizes the strategic importance of managing the Ideon gauge during gameplay. The next page showcases Riven, the sequel to Myst for the Sega Saturn, a follow-up to the popular adventure game Myst. The game is described as having beautiful graphics built from 7,000 centigrams images. The player's goal is to enter the world, capture Gen, and rescue Catherine. The article highlights 5 islands that serve as the game's setting: Temple Island, Jungle Island, Plateau Island, Crater Island, and Prison Island. Temple Island, the first island visited, features the Gate Room and Genshen's Sanctuary. Jungle Island contains a village and the submarine for unique transportation. Plateau Island has upper and lower levels accessible by an elevator, and features a miniature display of the islands. Crater Island has a large crater and the giant boiler structure. Lastly, Prison Island is where Catherine is imprisoned, and requires solving puzzles related to sound to unlock the prison's door. Choroke Island, the setting for the Choroke Champion races, features driving schools, weather vision, and racetracks. Formula Q, Oval, Endurance, Off-Road, and City. Players can buy or trade cars at the Choroke Shop and Exchange, customize them in the garage, and change their appearance. The game releases late March for 5,800 yen. The next page dives into Waku Waku Puyo Puyo Dungeon, highlighting its characters, story, and gameplay mechanics. The story involves Arcule, Scherzo, and Rulyu, exploring dungeons that change shape each time they enter. The page introduces new characters like Incubus, who loves girls and makeup, and Suketo Dara, a fish man who loves to dance, along with returning fan favorite Seri, who is a mermaid. The article explains that players can get useful information by talking to characters before entering an attraction, but the conversations can be hit or miss. In Dungeons, the Start button opens a menu to check status, skills, items, and the ground. Players can also prepare skills in the skills menu and use items found on the ground. The page also highlights the importance of preparing skills before battles, as enemies have different attributes. Arlie's signature fire spell and the magic attack lightning are shown as examples. It explains how to recover MP and use various items found in dungeons such as herbs, medicines, books, and scrolls. It also features rule-use special moves and gives information about the game's release date as April 2nd with a price of 5,800 yen. This page is a follow-up report on Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the Sega Saturn, highlighting original elements added to this version. The article reveals that, in addition to Alucard and Richter, Maria is now a playable character and selectable from the beginning. This is a core addition to the Saturn version. New costumes are also available, designed by artist Ayami Kojima. The page also dives into Maria's fighting style and system, noting differences compared to Alucard and Richter. It seems her basic attack is a kick, and she can use sub-weapons. The gauge is for command special moves, which utilize the power of the four holy beasts: Genbu, healing; Byakko, fire; Seiryu, dragon; and Suzaku, phoenix. The reviewer speculates on the uses for the gauge, and if Richter may be harder to use. Also touched on is that Maria aided Richter in the past. The next page showcases more original elements added to the Sega Saturn version of Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Besides Alucard, the additions are new stages like the Underground Garden and Poison Plant Research Lab, new monsters and events, new music, and a sound mode. They've also tweaked the system and added/changed items. The PS version had 146 monsters, but the Saturn version has more. The article details the clock and item functions, explaining that the game clock is linked to the Saturn's internal clock. This affects character abilities and available items, including the addition of a holder for recovery items that can be used quickly. The page also features an advertisement for Sega partners and a list of contents for the magazine. There is a section for mail-in postcards to the Kingdom of Saturn. Also listed is info on amusement centers called Joyopolis, and a Mariah Carey visit to Joyopolis. This page is a mail-in postcard for the Kingdom of Saturn section of the magazine. It requests personal information such as name, address, phone number, pen name, and age. It also includes sections for game performance records, Cornhead Club information, and other comments from the reader. The card notes that any submissions like letters, drawings, are accepted. The next page features various news and previews. First, there's a report on the production presentation of the musical Sakura Wars Blooming Maidens, including comments from the staff and details about the story and music. Attendees receive a commemorative ticket. Next, Sega's MMV label has 2 new albums releasing in February. Burning Rangers soundtrack with full chorus and English versions of vocal tracks, and Glock R360 Virtua Racing, a compilation of 3 arcade titles. Virtua Fighter 3 TB will be released on February 21st, and will include details about all the updates to the game, and strategy from top players such as Kurita, Kiasao, Medachansky, Kashiwazaki, Jeffrey, Binburo, and Chibi. There is a recruitment ad for the Sakura Wars official fan club, Taikoku Kagekidan. A world project is underway, linking the Eberouge PC game to other media. The handheld Rockman X minigame is announced, featuring communication battles and character customization. Several new CD releases are highlighted, including Mazinger Legend, Biohazard Drama Album, and Yoke no Uta, from the game Machi. The page also announces the winners of the Digital Circus 97 questionnaire campaign, as well as a new campaign where you can win prizes such as Jang Rhythms, Software, Wizards Harmony 1 and 2 Music Collection, or Sonic R Quo cards. This page presents the Ranking Street segment, delivering the latest software information based on actual sales data and reader surveys. It features Saturn game sales rankings, popular game rankings, and Transplant Wish rankings. The Saturn sales ranking is led by Sentimental Graffiti, followed by Street Fighter Alpha 2, with a comment discussing if Sentimental Graffiti lived up to expectations. The popular game ranking sees Sakura Wars 2 topping the charts, with discussion on its success. Other titles mentioned include Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Steel Girlfriend, Super Robot Wars F, and Eve the Lost One. The Transplant Wish ranking is headed by Tales of Destiny and To Heart, with some analysis on why these titles are so desired. Other popular titles are Last Blade, Pia Hi Yukoso, and Final Fantasy VII. The page also solicits ideas for future ranking themes from readers and offers rewards for the best suggestions, such as Sega Ages titles they would like to see. The next page is another Ranking Street segment, this time focusing on game reviews and reader rankings. It highlights Real Bout Fatal Fury Special as the top game, emphasizing the SNK formula of fighting games. The page includes a table ranking the top 5 games, with Real Bout Fatal Fury Special in first place, followed by Wizard's Harmony 2, Prisoner of Ice, Tilk the Blue Sea from Afar, and Reflection Spark. The table also lists the release dates, prices, and overall scores for each game. Reviews from readers provide insights on each game. For Real Bout Fatal Fury Special, the transplant quality, CPU difficulty, and ring-out system are discussed. Comments on Wizard's Harmony 2 praise its atmosphere and system improvements.
Prisoner of Ice is lauded for its challenging puzzles and B-movie atmosphere. Tilk receives acclaim for its graphics and sound. Lastly, Reflection Spark is noted for its beautiful graphics, but somewhat simple gameplay. There's also a call for submissions of game reviews, with a chance to win prizes such as a telephone card and software. The page concludes with a list of games eligible for review in the next issue, including Magical Princess Pretty Sammy, Gunblaze S, and Sengoku Turbo.
The next page is a questionnaire for readers to fill out and send in to win software prizes. 50 people will win one of 8 games. 5 copies of each game are up for grabs. The games are The House of the Dead, Vampire Savior, Darkstalkers, Eve the Lost One, Dukoku Soshite, Lament and Then, Dragon Force 2, Burning Rangers, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden, and Mobile Suit Gundam, Guren's Ambition. The questionnaire asks about the reader's school or occupation, age, gender, favorite magazines, game consoles owned, software they intend to buy, and their opinions on articles and Saturn software. There are instructions on how to fill out the form correctly, and some explanatory notes on the rating factors for games, such as character appeal, music, value for money, playability, excitement, and originality. The page also contains lists of game titles and magazine titles, categorized by platform, which may be relevant for answering the questionnaire. These lists include titles such as Idol Mahjong, Final Romance 4, and Sonic the Fighters, as well as magazine titles like Great Saturn Z and Dengeki Nintendo 64. The next page features a rundown of Sega Saturn software released around February 1998. The page is broken down into categories such as action, RPG, simulation, adventure, and 2D and 3D shooters, sporting titles, and puzzle. Action titles include games like Tama, Clockwork Knight, Radiant Silvergun, Street Fighter, and X-Men. RPG titles include Virtual Highlight, Black Matrix, Grandia, and Dragon's Dream. Simulation games include Farland Saga. Adventure games include Myst. The 2D shooting game section has Layer Sections Galactic Attack and Gun Frontier. And the 3D shooting game section has Panzer Dragoon. Sporting titles include Victory Goal and NBA Jam. Puzzle games include Pocket Gals. Also included are table and other game categories. This page is a colorful mix of reader submissions, game discussions, and quirky artwork, all centered around the Sega Saturn. The Conehead Club section introduces the column and its theme. There's talk about dealing with winter weather and staying warm while playing Saturn games. The Free section includes reader stories and experiences. The author discusses their experiences of the cold weather and being in a room with 5 oil stoves. The Manga to Go section features short manga strips and humorous reader comments. The Kids Hope section contains reader opinions on games and the industry, with a focus on the perception of the Saturn as a gouge machine. The Illust Gallery showcases reader-submitted artwork. Games mentioned include Shining Force 2i, Space Harrier, Alex Kidd, Virtual Highlight, Grandia, Outrun, and Afterburner, with fan art featuring characters from Baroque, Chaos Seed, and doTERRA. The 11th Illustration Hall of Fame announces the winner of the reader-voted illustration contest, with Lee taking the top spot for an ogre battle piece. The next page is a collection of fan submissions and artwork related to various games. One section spotlights Taigeki Defense Squad, with fan-made artwork of Sakura Wars characters. Another section focuses on Paradigm S, with submissions featuring characters from Devil Summoners and Iris from Sakura Wars. The Dragon Force Friends Association showcases art inspired by Dragon Force.
The Lunar Magic Guild features fan art of characters from the Lunar series.
The Rangs Garden section shows fan artwork of Langrisser characters, while EVA Complementary Committee displays fan art related to Evangelion. There's also a Grandia Soldier Corps with fan submissions for Grandia. Games and characters mentioned include the soft-looking character, Black Matrix, KOF 96, Devil Summoner characters, Lunar's Lucia, Langrisser, 2i, Grandia characters, and characters from a game called Knights. Fan comments express excitement for upcoming releases, appreciation for character designs, and personal gaming experiences. This page features reader submissions, artwork, and a Sega Saturn game, Machi. Special feature. Readers express desires for a Captain Tsubasa sequel, detailing improvements and expanded rosters. Fan art for Sega AM games like Fighting Vipers and Panzer Dragoon RPG is included. The Corn Kids Network board discusses seeking arcade gaming partners and the challenges of finding players. Sata Fans Otayori Q&A features editor introductions, discussion of Sega commercials, and a tribute to Shotaro Ishinomori. The Machi feature highlights sub-character stories and includes interviews with the scriptwriter, Shuka Nagasaka, and images of characters like Kimen and Gundi. The next page dives deeper into the side stories of the game Machi. It introduces several characters and their individual narratives, including Patrick Dundee, a mysterious foreigner in Shibuya, and Kibukuro, a TV producer seeking new drama ideas. It also features the story of Mabo and Mikarin, a couple who win a lottery but lose their ticket. And finally, the page covers a mysterious chic boy who delivers lectures on the street. The page discusses the behind-the-scenes creation of these side stories, with comments from writer Shuka Nagasaka, and includes a call for readers to submit their own side stories for potential inclusion in future games. This page from a gaming magazine focuses on Chaos Seed, offering strategy for the mid-game, with guidance on navigating the game's dungeons and action elements. The page highlights that the mid-game introduces more complex, branching scenarios. The magazine provides a chart to help players navigate these branching paths and achieve different endings. It mentions there are 13 scenarios. The page details the requirements for each scenario. A chart is included showing the decisions and outcomes of the sealed door scenario, specifically who to take as a partner in the adventure. The page also provides insights into dragon stress and how it impacts the game. This stress can be influenced by how the player interacts with the dragon, what they feed it, and events that occur. Finally, the page outlines a walkthrough for Scenario 8 of the game. This includes several events and outcomes. This page delves into strategies for Chaos Seed, focusing on mid-game puzzles and offering tips for a couple of endings. First, it describes how to take down 3 powerful enemies before they reach the dragon's cave, the key being powerful monsters through the summoning room and upgrading the attack room. The next strategy focuses on defeating the same enemies inside the dragon's cave by strengthening the main character through the digging room and powerful monsters through the summoning room. It discusses the colorless world dungeon, which appears when creating rooms and offers a good leveling opportunity. There's also a list detailing how to create specific colorless world instances, including Azure Dragon 10 Caves, Black God Cave, Allied Friendship Cave, Heavenly Splendor Cave, 3 Sky Caves, Hua Xian Cave, Xuanwu God and Immortal Cave, and Eternal Faraway Cave. Finally, the page tackles some of the game's puzzles, with tips and clear examples for rooms. It describes Puzzle 1, Assemble all the room gods, Puzzle 2, Rooms without doors, Puzzle 3, Thunderclap of the closed heavens, Puzzle 4, Haste makes waste, and Puzzle 5, A match for 1,000. This page features more Chaos Seed tips, focusing on puzzles and combat.
It starts with puzzle solutions, outlining strategies for puzzles 6 through 10.
Puzzle 6 involves dealing with a summoned monster Shishun that disrupts energy production, requiring immediate dismissal. Puzzle 7 demands reaching an energy production of 200 within 5 turns. Puzzle 8 concerns maximizing the All-Search Special Room. Puzzle 9 involves accumulating 5,000 energy in the Dragon Cave, focusing on energy recycling. Puzzle 10 is about repelling 100 invaders within 3 turns. The page shifts to combat, advising players to rely on mid-range attacks using the B button, and exploiting invincibility frames during B button attacks to survive. It then highlights the strategic use of spells, suggesting using homing spells against small groups and area effect spells in confined spaces. Featured spells include Demon Strike Annihilation Line, Dragon Bullet, and Demon Strike Explosion Dance. Finally, a contest is promoted, offering signed artwork to the first 3 players who achieve 100% completion of a Chaos Seed scenario. The next page continues with tips for Chaos Seed, starting with advice from Senin about decorating rooms to focus on key aspects like production, training, and summoning. It also emphasizes the need to quickly establish these rooms early in the game. Then it provides hints for spring vacation dates, including speeding up time with the A+L button command. The guide focuses on building the excavation room for weapons and items, suggesting strengthening it to improve item discovery. It also explains how room colors affect excavation time, using red to speed it up. There's also a focus on the storage room, which allows moving items between scenarios, and advises players to place attack rooms in combat areas for ease of use, and to use traps. Lastly, the article focuses on teacher Sanpei, and how his lectures have been completed. However, the teacher is now stuck in a trap. This page focuses on Panzer Dragoon RPG, known as Azel, Panzer Dragoon RPG internationally. It highlights the game's story, with the protagonists Edge and Azel descending into underground ruins. The guide provides tips on how to navigate the dungeon, including the locations of gate keys and available items on the first floor, such as bluegrass, flash, yellow grass, slow clear, wide, and vad chip. The review notes that the enemies in the underground ruins aren't too strong, so focusing on exploiting weaknesses will be beneficial. For the second and third floors, the goal is to reach the underground dome entrance and suggests a route to follow. The guide mentions a lab with a link to the past and advises that there are holes to the third floor and using the switches to fill holes with water to progress. Finally, the page gives tips for rebattling a Tolm dragon, recommending the use of Vadam spells to weaken its attack and targeting its weak points when the green zone is full. The next page provides a walkthrough for the underground dome in Azel Panzer Dragoon RPG, giving advice on how to navigate floors 1 to 3. It directs players to seek the dome gate key and how to use gate key 3, found on floor 3 west. The guide continues to the final level floor, 4A and 4B, indicating the location of the dome gate key at location is,
and advises collecting all available items. The walkthrough shows the connections between the areas A to B and the direction of travel. It lists obtainable items, including types of chips and glasses. There are also tips for boss battles against Tam Rissa and Tam Basilisk, mentioning that Tam Rissa can be easily defeated by targeting the Tam pros with shots and then using homing lasers. For Tam Basilisk, the reviewer recommends focusing attacks on the tail or head, depending on the form. The page highlights the attack on the Imperial battleship Vritra, directing players to destroy buildings and weaken Vritra, plus to target the red and blue striped areas of the wings to stop its secondary cannons. It also details 2 phases of the Vritra battle, plus advises targeting the central weak spot and using Berserk during the second phase's main cannon attack. Finally, it mentions the launch of a massive anticity ammunition aimed at destroying Zoa, directing players to destroy the base launching these munitions. This page features a strategy guide for Winter Heat, a Sega sports game. It emphasizes that simply mashing buttons won't lead to record-breaking scores, and provides key knowledge for achieving top results. The page details controller configurations, urging players to customize button layouts for ease of access. It offers specific tips for various events, such as carefully timing jumps in ski jumping, and remembering action buttons at the finish line in skating events. It also explores how character strengths affect gameplay, advising players to choose characters based on their proficiency in specific events. For example, characters excelling in ski jumping have an advantage in approach speed, and slalom specialists experience less speed reduction when hitting gates. It features detailed character profiles including Kudo, Carl Vane, Johann Stenson, Rikuri, Rick Blade, Elaine, Alex Riga, and BB. The guide then breaks down character types: all-around, alpine, Nordic, and skate, and matches characters to their strengths, suggesting events to focus on for record attempts. The next page is a strategy guide for SD Gundam G Century. It details various mobile suits, MS, and weapon systems, WS, providing data and strategies for battles. The page explains how to raise and deploy Ms and Ws effectively. It mentions focusing on mass-producing Ms like Char's Gelgoog and deploying them in groups. It also advises prioritizing Ms with strong map, multi-attack point, weapons, and mentions using powerful Ms in critical situations. There's a section on building a core team with ace pilots and improving SOMs through experience. It stresses the importance of capturing strategic locations to gain resources and points, and upgrading reams based on their levels. The page also touches on NT sudden changes, which require NT values for using funnel weapons and enhancing Ms abilities. There are also tables showing unit stats, covering various factions and Ms types, like Liga Militias, Shuffle Alliance, and Colony National Federation, with data on cost, armor, speed, attack, and defensive stats. Finally, it discusses the Euro faction, highlighting their strengths in aerial combat and recommending Ms like the full armor ZZ. This page continues the strategy guide for SD Gundam G Century, focusing on various factions and their mobile suits. It covers the Principality of Zeon, highlighting SMs like the Zaku 2 and Gelgoog, noting their mass production capabilities, and the importance of NT-type Ms. There's also a section on the Dalaz fleet, emphasizing units like the Val-Valo and GPO-2, and their cost-effectiveness. The Titans faction is featured, with a focus on the Biarlant and their NT capabilities. Other factions covered include Axis, Neo Zeon, Crossbone Vanguard, the Zanskar Empire, Oz, and the Devil Gundam. The guide offers insights into their unit balance, strengths, and recommended YOSMs, such as the Rajarja for Axis and the V8 and Mercurius for Oz. Some screenshots show units in action and the interface of the game. The review summarizes their strategy and strengths for each faction. Finally, there's a section on common units, listing the Earth Federation forces, Zeon, Dalaz fleet, and Uchu Doe forces. This page features a double-page spread advertising two different games. On the left is Metamor V, a Sega Saturn title described as a popular and exciting adventure game. The ad highlights colorful visuals, character artwork, and the concept of Metamor warriors fighting to protect the Earth. It mentions a final showdown with a land, sea, and air battle, and the price is 5,800 yen. On the right is Yukyu Gensukyoku Second Album, a PlayStation title with a simulation focus of friendship. The ad's tagline is, "Truth, never let go." It shows a group of anime-style characters and mentions a second album, priced at 2,800 yen, with related crids, drama crids, books, and a comic being released. This page is an advertorial-style spread covering game strategies and new releases. The left side of the page has a large image of a mascot character and advertises a board game called Tenant Wars, priced at 5,800 yen. The advert also features store screenshots from locations like Aoyama's Aoyama, Victoria, His, Autobax, Tsutaya, Joshuya, Manga no Mori, Denny's, Takanoyuri Beauty Clinic, Drugstore Matsumoto Kiyoshi, Lotteria, and a tagline about enjoying the game alone or with friends. The right side introduces a game research institute, offering tips and strategies. It mentions J-League Pro Soccer Club, Otsukuru 2, for Sega Saturn, and other titles like Wizardry Nemesis, Magical Girl Pretty Sammy, and After School Love Club. There is also a readers tournament for J-League Pro Soccer Club, Otsukuru 2, with 224 teams participating. A table provides game information, including release date, developer, genre, price, and CD count. The page also includes a long list of team names participating in a SEGA Fan Cup tournament, and the table shows details such as a release date in November 20th, 1997, developed by Sega, and a price of 5,800 yen. The next page is about J-League Pro Soccer Club Otsukuru 2. It shows a tournament bracket with 28 teams participating in a SEGA Fan Cup. The page displays the team names, formations, and player lists
for each team involved in the tournament. These teams include names such as Gluck Kurume, Mistral Osaka, Avanzata Korigasaki, El Toro Nerima, Yokohama Iris, Rafale Funabashi, Rafale Shizuoka, Avanzata Kagoshima, Galeos Matsuyama, Rafale Mishima, Yurele Sendai, Esbarda Himeji, Tigre Wakayama, Corriente Shimada, Cielo Koga, Nerima Sfeeder, Presgiru Fukuroi, Ryumiere Kakagawa, Toyonaka Mistral, El Fushurito Itabashi, Mutos Naha, Maebashi Lumiere, Unicorn Gunma, Leone Shinagawa, Shizuoka Mistral, Avanzata Takamatsu, Corriente Karia, and National Estrella. The formations listed include 352A, 532A, 343A, 442A, 451B, and more. The next page continues the J-League Pro Soccer Club O Tsukuru 2 tournament. It details the results of the qualifying leagues, showing the winners from each group who advanced to the final tournament bracket. The page lists the teams, their records, wins, losses, draws, goals scored, goals conceded, and a short commentary on some of the groups. It also shows the bracket for the final tournament. Unicorn Gunma won the tournament and went on to the next round. The page ends with a note on the strength of counterattacks, and a note on problems with players who had trouble entering the tournament, and some text on how to apply. This page offers a complete guide to branching scenarios in Pretty Sammy Heart no Kimochi, aiming for 100% completion. It provides a flowchart of choices and flags that affect the story in the adventure game. The guide highlights that choices heavily influence the plot, especially regarding flags in the Burning Flame Chocolate, Valentine's Day is only 3 days away scenario. Saving before key decisions is recommended, especially before the Sand Paintings House chocolate making minigame, as it impacts the ending. The flowchart presents decision trees. Examples of choices include whether to investigate or ignore certain characters, responses to situations, and strategies to use during combat. Characters that feature include the main character, Pretty Sammy, Misa, and other characters. The page also mentions the mysterious new weapon, codenamed Glitter Rakuda. The page provides data like, the game was released by NEC Interchannel, developed by AIC Spirits, and is a single-player adventure game. The page concludes with paths to multiple endings, depending on the choices made. The next page details decision trees in Pretty Sammy Heart no Kimochi. It provides guides to follow paths involving Iori, and Kaiori in specific scenarios, with steps and flags that need to be triggered, along with tips on navigating minigames to influence the story and unlock multiple endings. This page is about Treasure's arcade debut, Radiant Silvergun. It highlights the game's vertical scrolling shooting action, mentioning its roots in titles like Gunstar Heroes and Silhouette Mirage. The page emphasizes the game's challenging difficulty, with multiple bosses per stage and intricate level design. Screenshots showcase the intense bullet patterns and the use of terrain in battles, teasing its imminent release in arcades. The page also includes a strategy guide for Wizardry Nemesis. It offers a complete walkthrough for the game's initial stages, focusing on puzzle solving and exploration. It offers the initial steps for progressing through the town and the forest, finding items, and following story events in a logical order. The guide includes maps, item lists, and spell effect descriptions, designed to aid players in their quest. It also offers a detailed strategy for getting past the early tough parts. The next page offers a strategy guide for Heigane World, detailing the dungeon layouts, item locations, and enemy encounters across 3 basement levels. The guide provides step-by-step instructions, including puzzle solutions, for navigating the maze. Additionally, the page features information on After School Love Club Love Etude, including the release date, price, genre, and target audience. It showcases 3 of the game's heroines, Misao Sonozaki, and 2 others. The page highlights tips on how to win over Misao, offering insights into her preferences during dates and interactions. This page covers several topics related to dating simulation games and real-time rankings. First, there's a section focusing on Ayumu Inamaba, from an unnamed game, delving into themes of friendship, romance, and band dynamics. It explores her personality, relationships, and how to navigate conversations with her, offering tips on expressing opinions and understanding her preferences. Next, the page presents real-time game rankings, both overall and broken down by region, to highlight differences in game popularity across Japan. It also notes the trend of fewer new releases and minimal changes in top-ranking titles. There is a real-time ranking of software up to December 25, 1997, with games like Sakura Wars topping the charts. Finally, there is a section on Mizuho Yamashina from another unnamed dating simulation game, portraying her as the girl next door type. It discusses her character, her views on relationships, and how to approach conversations with her, emphasizing the importance of respecting her values. The next page dives into reader opinions and rankings. It opens with a "Hello" from reader surveys, showcasing comments on various games. One reader humorously mentions playing Densha to Go and Olympic on PlayStation, while another shares a story about being caught reading the magazine in class. The page also includes a My Play Impression Talk section, with players discussing their experiences with games like Fighters Megamix and Sega Rally Championship. The bottom section highlights top articles and boring games based on reader votes. The most interesting article focuses on the excitement surrounding Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden, while the list of less favored games includes titles like Seihai Kishinshi Tairio and Royal Domestics. This page features Sugoroku Renai Adventure, a board game-style dating simulator. It showcases a colorful game board with dice and character art, alongside screenshots of in-game interactions with 5 distinct female characters. It highlights that the game involves navigating the board, making choices, and battling rivals to win the girl's hearts. The page also lists 5 rules for capturing her heart, advising players to consider character personalities, visit date spots, win battles, defeat boss characters on their own, and utilize in-game cards effectively. The game is marketed as an external story of Dragon Master Silk. The bottom of the page includes product details, such as a February 1998 release date and a price of 5,800 yen. Also, it has a Saturn Fan No. 4 reader survey form. The next page features a reader survey from Saturn Fan No. 4. It's a form for readers to fill out and send in, including their address, name, phone number, game scores, and what kind of gift they'd like to receive. The page also includes images and mentions of several games: Noël La Neige, First Kiss Story, and Pia Carrot e Yukoso. The page also showcases Even the Lost One, and the survey appears connected to a reader prize draw. This page is an advertisement for Nadeshiko Volume 3, a Sega Saturn Fan Special Edition featuring beautiful girls from various games. It highlights several Sega Saturn titles, including Eve the Lost One, Pia Carrot e Yukoso, Black Matrix, Friends Youth's Radiance, Etude Prologue, Princess Quest, and Secret Squadron Metal Versus. It promises a hypervisual magazine, packed with the charm of game characters, set to release on February 20th, priced at 690 yen. The page also advertises strategy guides, published by Tokuma Shuten/Intermedia. These guides cover titles like Formula Grand Prix, Alnum's Wings, and Blaze and Blade, Eternal Quest. Each guide offers detailed information, including complete dungeon maps, item lists, and gameplay tips. The next page features an advertisement for strategy guides under the Game no Ayumikata book series by Tokuma Intermedia. It highlights a total of 7 guides, touting them as essential for conquering challenging games. The highlighted strategy guides cover titles such as Gallop Racer 2 for PlayStation, Super Robot Wars F for Saturn, Breath of Fire 2i for PlayStation, and Crime Crackers 2 for PlayStation. The ad emphasizes the detailed charts and strategies within the guides, including complete unit data, enemy character details, and dungeon maps. The right side of the page advertises the second edition strategy guide. It promises to be thick with 356 pages of essential information and includes sections on games like Azel, Panzer Dragoon RPG for Saturn, Gran Turismo for PlayStation, Deals of Destiny, Devil Summoner for Saturn, and Resident Evil 2 for PlayStation. The guides are analyzed by experts and priced at 790 yen for the second edition. This page advertises strategy guides from Tokuma Intermedia, focusing on walkthroughs and tips for various games, promising detailed charts and strategies to help players conquer difficult titles. The left side lists walkthroughs for the SS game Shining Force 2i, where it promises easy-to-understand charts and maps, with clear explanations of key points. There is also a guide for Grandia, with maps and charts for adventures, a guide with a variety of data for items, spells, weapons, armor, monster details, and unique game-specific data. The right side shows the Sega Saturn game J-League Jikyu Hanu no Striker. It is advertised as the latest in the J-League real-time series, featuring J-League Soccer with John Kabira's play-by-play commentary and Yasutaro Matsuki's explanations. The game offers diverse settings and game modes for replayability, enabling 4-player simultaneous play using the multi-terminal 6 adapter, and includes various modes such as J-League tournaments and customizable club leagues with data on players, weather conditions, and team formations. The next page showcases J-League Jikyu Hanu no Striker, a soccer game with SD characters and easy controls, featuring play-by-play commentary by John Kabira and explanations from Yasutaro Matsuki. The game boasts simplified controls with an action button for techniques and combinations, allowing players to execute complex moves. It also highlights team-based tactics like wall passes, centering, and includes various scenarios such as penalty area attacks and headers. There are also some tips and examples for the game's controls. The page also introduces a baseball game, where you become the owner of a team and aim for the strongest team in the baseball world. It enables customization of players, offering password-based competition and various team-building aspects. It seems to feature SD characters and focuses on team management. This page continues with the baseball game, guiding players on how to manage their team over 30 years, focusing on tasks like personnel management, scouting for new talent, and negotiating contracts. It also explains how to improve the stadium and fan base through various facility upgrades and promotional activities. The off-season is dedicated to reinforcing team strength, with a focus on drafting new players, renegotiating contracts, and acquiring free agents. It also discusses managing retiring players and trading with other teams. The page touches upon injuries that can occur during training camps and provides advice on managing player fatigue. There are screenshots of game interfaces related to player scouting, contract negotiations, stadium construction, and training camp management. The next page is a guide to baseball management in the game. It gives tips on how to build the best team from a financial perspective, introducing the concept of generating income by increasing admission revenue through things like ticket sales and merchandise. It discusses scouting for both domestic and foreign players, as well as acquiring free agents. The text also covers player development, emphasizing the importance of rigorous training for young players, and offering advice on effective practice methods. Finally, the piece touches on coaching and scouting for new talent, and the introduction of edited players. The page contains screenshots of the game interface, showing various player stats, recruitment options, and training routines. It talks of the best players in the industry that could be drafted, and coaching, and the effects of training. This page also introduces the Langrisser Dramatic Edition, which includes Langrisser I and II. It touches on the story and characters, describing the gameplay as a simulation RPG with animated scenes. This page details the strategy RPG Langrisser and II. It emphasizes strategic battle planning, character customization, and unit management, highlighting the importance of understanding unit attributes and terrain. The article explains how to build your army, hire soldiers, equip them with weapons and armor, and arrange them on the battlefield. Commanders have a certain range of influence, and units within that range receive stat bonuses. The right mix of troop types is essential for victory, as is taking advantage of terrain features. The article features the story and characters of the game, and also discusses the Super Paccio Adventure Nightmare game. It mentions the main character meets the girls, and that if you can solve the puzzle of the girls, you can have a date. It discusses the game's challenges and rewards, and its mahjong game features. This page features two distinct games, Battle Garega and a dating sim with minigame elements. The Battle Garega section highlights its arcade-perfect recreation for the Sega Saturn, including faithful reproduction of the original's challenging gameplay, and the addition of a new Saturn-exclusive mode. It mentions 5 screen display modes, allowing players to customize their experience, as well as the option to adjust difficulty settings, including hit detection. The author emphasizes the difficulty, but encourages players to embrace the challenge. The other half of the page focuses on a dating sim. It highlights features such as minigames and dating scenarios unlocked by progressing through the game. There are 13 dateable girls in this game, including Misaki Kyoko, Ninomiya Kotori, Ichimonji Tsukasa, Hinoki Sanae, Miruku, Mizunoki Kiki, Fujiwara Arisu, Sakuraba Miri, Cecil Delinger, Katagiri Shino, Sasaki Miru, Amamiya Mai, and Kawamoto Sayuri. The next page introduces Stellar Assault SS, a 3D shooting game for the Super 32X. It describes the game's features, including the freedom to move around a 3D environment, a story involving battling an enemy fleet, and added features like movies and voice messages. There's a trace mode for replaying your games, and 2 ship types to choose from, the SSFFE01 Type PIA and SSFFE01 Type HEB, each with different weapons and abilities, and the game can be played with 2 players. The page mentions the game consists of 15 stages, and the battles take place on the surface of planets and space. There are also options to select difficulty and bullet types.
Quote, this page dives into the Sega Saturn library with a look at the unique RPG/board game hybrid, Dragon Master Silk Gaiden. It features a turn-based gameplay system driven by dice rolls and cards, where players form a bond, or Kizuna, with one of the 5 potential female partners to overcome challenges and battle demons. The strength of this bond influences the partner's abilities and story progression. The page showcases character artwork for the 5 girls and screenshots of the game's board map and battle sequences. The page also includes part of the Saturn Soft Impression section, featuring reviews of recently released or upcoming titles.
Reviewers are introduced with brief profiles. A key game covered here is the action-packed Burning Rangers. Reviewers offer their thoughts on its gameplay, difficulty, and overall impression, with the game receiving positive scores, highlighting its smooth controls and thrilling action sequences. This page continues the Saturn Soft Impression section, delving into more diverse titles available for the console. We see reviews for the baseball simulation Pro Yaku Team, Wo Tsukuru, where players enjoy the depth of building and managing a baseball team through trades and matches. Next up is the adventure game Dukoku Soshite, featuring character art and praised for its atmospheric presentation and engaging story by the reviewers. We also have Yukyu Gensokyoku Second Album, a simulation game with dating sim elements, highlighted for its improved events and charming characters compared to the previous installment. For fans of shooters, Battle Garega makes an appearance, lauded for its intricate bullet patterns and satisfying core gameplay, though some found the difficulty challenging. The 3D shooter Stella Assault SS, a port of the 32X title, is reviewed next, with comments on its graphics and controls, showing a mix of opinions among the panel. Finally, Super Pang Adventure Doki Doki Heart Nightmare presents a unique blend of mahjong, quiz, and adventure, which is generally well received for its fun mix of elements, particularly scoring high marks for its overall enjoyment. Saturn Soft Impression continues with reviews of various games. The Legend of Heroes is praised for visuals but criticized for gameplay mechanics. JQJ.League is fun, but repetitive. Power Drift is well received, capturing the arcade feel. Langrisser offers balanced strategy RPG gameplay. Pachinko Hall presents a challenging management simulation. Dragon Master Silk Gaiden is an adventure game with a strong cast and board game style battles, though its pace might be slow. This page dives into Sega's presence at the AOU show, highlighting their impressive lineup of arcade titles. The main feature showcases Sega Rally Championship 2, the highly anticipated sequel to the legendary racer, promising enhanced gameplay and beautiful Model 3 graphics, featuring a shot of the game mid-race. Alongside it is Fighting Vipers 2, bringing intense 3D arcade fighting back with new characters and mechanics, shown with a dynamic screenshot of 2 fighters clashing. The text poses the question of what to look forward to at the show with this strong lineup. Continuing the Saturn Soft Impression section, this page also touches upon Saturn software.
It briefly mentions Message Navi Volume 2 as utility software for finding friends online. The reviewer roundtable discusses various impressions, including the action game Burning Ranger, touching on its difficulty and design. The discussion also covers the baseball management simulations Saskatsuku and Pro Yaku Team Wo Tsukuru, focusing on team building and development aspects, accompanied by screenshots showing team management screens and player stats.
This page continues the deep dive into Sega's presence, kicking off with a major feature on the finally completed Sega Rally Championship 2. This sequel to the legendary racer, announced on the previous page, is detailed here with a look at the game's structure, including its championship and practice modes, and showcasing the initial lineup of 6 faithfully recreated rally cars based on real vehicles. The article highlights the game's 4 courses, introducing the beginner, desert, and intermediate, mountain, stages, with accompanying screenshots and brief descriptions of their characteristics. Elsewhere on the page, the M1 Lab presents Tizen Tantor, a versus puzzle game designed for 2 players, promising fun minigame challenges. The AM3 Lab section focuses on Virtualan Oratorio Tangram, confirming that the AOU version is nearly complete and will feature all 12 Virtuoids, urging fans to experience it. An urgent scoop section reveals that acclaimed developer Treasure is entering the arcade market, showcasing their first title, the vertical shooter Radiant Silvergun. This section features key art of a character and a dynamic in-game screenshot, marking a significant move for the renowned developer. The page is rounded out with a large report graphic overlaid with character art. This page continues, the Arcade Hits Now special, diving deeper into Sega Rally Championship 2 with a look at the challenging Advanced, Snowy, and Super Advanced Riviera courses. The Snowy course is highlighted for its slippery conditions requiring precise technique, while the Riviera course, modeled after Monaco, features tight, continuous corners perfect for using the side brake. An interview with development director Mr. Sasaki discusses the game's focus on capturing the essence of Sega Rally and the satisfaction derived from overcoming its difficulty. The page then transitions to the Sega AM2 Lab section, featuring a preview of Fighting Vipers 2 ahead of the AOU show. The game is confirmed to feature 11 playable characters, including Emmy and Charlie, and introduces a dramatic new Super KO finish, an advanced player queue, and touches upon new guard and attack mechanics. Character spotlights detail Emmy's unique style with moves derived from a down state and Charlie's distinctive BMXBASED attacks, showcasing the diverse fighting styles available. This page continues, the Arcade Hits Now special previewing the upcoming Fighting Vipers 2. It highlights several of the game's diverse characters, detailing their fighting styles and showcasing key moves through screenshots. You'll find information on Mahler, known for his powerful throws and combos, Bon, utilizing formidable techniques like the elbow upper and shoulder tackle, Picky, a tricky and versatile fighter incorporating skateboard moves, and Honey, a character with straightforward yet effective attacks and combo potential. Further down, the page covers Tomakio, a fast character with numerous combinations, and Jane, whose attack power varies with button press duration, featuring a notable kick combo into a hook. While detailed move lists are present for each, the text emphasizes the character's overall feel and highlighted techniques. A significant portion focuses on the game's development nearing completion, featuring insights likely from the director. Discussions cover character design philosophy, aiming for accessibility for beginners while retaining depth for experts. The AOU show version is mentioned as being roughly 80% complete, with all 11 characters from the final roster playable, promising a well-tuned and balanced fighting experience. This page features previews for 2 upcoming arcade titles. Section 3 introduces Taisen Tantra Sashisugu, the latest entry in the popular Tantra series. This game is a collection of 13 competitive minigames where players battle head-to-head to earn money. Screenshots show various minigames including a money-grabbing challenge, a drawing game, and a race. The characters are noted for their simple, eraser-like 2D design, deliberately chosen for their expressive motion. Section 4 provides an update on Virtual Oratorio Tangram, reporting development progress at 89.4%. It begins to delve into the game's basic combat mechanics, detailing the weapon systems assigned to the left, center, and right buttons. Key movement techniques are also highlighted, such as the aerial dash shot for attacking while jumping, and the forward dash approach and quick step for closing distance and evasive maneuvers. Screenshots illustrate these techniques and the impressive Virtuoid mechs in action. The content emphasizes the game is nearing release and focuses on preparing players with fundamental combat knowledge. This page continues the deep dive into Virtual Oratorio Tangram, expanding on the combat mechanics introduced previously. It highlights new crouching attack types, demonstrating how pressing the lever inward while shooting results in different crouched shots, including a stationary shot, a mobile crouching shot, and a sliding shot, which is new to Oratorio Tangram and allows for rapid horizontal movement while attacking. The article also notes that homing performance is further improved, with crouching shots boasting high homing ability and increased shot count. It then breaks down the 7 types of shots available with simple operation, explaining how different combinations of the A, B, and C buttons trigger distinct shot types like the Vulcan, homing, spread, and the powerful Radiant sword attack, illustrating each with clear diagrams of the projectile patterns. Melee combat is also detailed under Melee attack, describing how simultaneous button presses during double lock-on initiate specific attacks for different Virtuoids, with Oratorio Tangram adding the throw technique for some mechs. Finally, a section titled, What's in the AOU version, provides insights, likely from a developer interview. It confirms that all 12 characters will be playable in the show build, adding to the excitement for attendees to experience the new features and mechanics firsthand, including the enhanced special moves. The difficulty is also touched upon, with mentions of the game potentially taking an hour to clear and being a challenging, masochistic experience. Screenshots showcase the Virtuoids performing these various attacks in different arena environments. This page delves further into Virtual On Oratorio Tangram, focusing on the core gameplay systems beyond basic movement and attacks. It highlights that weapon power-ups are not item-based, but instead tied to leveling up through gaining experience points, with each weapon type powering up individually as you play. Crucial for high scores are the weapon bonuses and chain bonuses. Weapon bonuses are awarded for specific actions performed with each weapon, like achieving consecutive hits or specific combos. The chain bonus system rewards players for destroying multiple enemies of the same color attribute consecutively, significantly boosting the score potential and adding a strategic layer to enemy targeting. The article also touches on the experience of playing, featuring comments likely from a developer discussing the fun of score attack and the technical aspects, mentioning the impressive visual fidelity despite using a 16-color palette for certain elements. Discussions also cover the game's development progress and final adjustments. Prominently featured is a large dynamic image of a Virtuoid, likely Viper 2, under a bold, "Now Sortie" header, emphasizing the excitement of battle. Screenshots throughout illustrate these gameplay mechanics and showcase various enemies and environments within the game. This page provides updates on several projects. The Etude Project E section announces the completion of event CGS and invites readers to submit more support postcards. It also reveals the results of the voice actor auditions for the first Etude game, listing the successful candidates who will be bringing the characters to life. The bi-weekly Elf Fan Volume 4 section focuses heavily on the classic adventure game Yuno, a girl who chants love at the edge of the world. It features a character file introducing Sala, along with a personal account related to a Valentine's Day event in the game, offering a glimpse into the protagonist's experiences. A dedicated Yuno information section provides details about the game, including exploration notes and strategic hints related to finding true endings, accompanied by in-game screenshots. Finally, there's a brief mention of the release of Nadeshiko Volume 3. This page features a report on an event for singer Makami Kanai, known for her work related to the popular dating simulation series, where she performed songs from her album Poor Brand. Photos show her performing in a vibrant red dress, participating in a rock-paper-scissors tournament, and greeting fans individually. The page also dives into the development of the 3D shooting game Stella Assault SS. An in-depth interview with director Tsuchida Yasushi and programmer Sasahara Yukitoshi discusses the challenges and process of porting the game, originating from a different platform, to the Saturn. They highlight their clear division of roles and collaborative dynamic that was essential to the project's success, noting the game was programmed primarily by Sasahara himself. They touch upon creating an experience enjoyable for both veteran players and newcomers. Additionally, there's a section inviting applications for the fourth term of the Shiori Mate fan club, dedicated to the character Shiori. Fans could also enter a Valentine's giveaway to win custom t-shirts featuring Shiori's artwork. Finally, a brief mention about a store in Osaka offering merchandise related to the series is included. This page presents a collection of Ultech tips and tricks for various Sega Saturn games, submitted by readers and rated based on their usefulness and uniqueness. Featured games include Sokusei Tokai, detailing methods to unlock hidden characters like Uchubanshou and Kage no Fukube Sakurako, and access secret system voices. For the horse racing sim Uma Monogatari, Haro 1, a trick is shared to keep your horse in peak condition using save data. Tinkle Star Spritz players can find a specific character-related quirk, while Bluebreaker, Kiba Yori mo Hohoemi o, offers a guide to recruiting the mysterious female wise into your party. The page also provides a winning strategy for the Hanafuda game, Bishoujo Hanafuda, Michinoku Onsen Monogatari Special. Fans of Lost World, Jurassic Park can find passwords to jump directly to different stages. Wizard's Harmony 2 reveals how to encounter the unusual character Mosmos. And Sentimental Graffiti provides a trick for getting a better look at the character sprites during dialogue. Finally, J-League Pro Soccer Club Wotsukuru 2 has a visual trick where the aircraft appearing on screen can seemingly transform. These tips offer players unique ways to enhance their gameplay experience in these diverse Saturn titles.
This page features a comprehensive report on the latest development status of anticipated Sega Saturn games. Showcasing a diverse lineup with screenshots and brief descriptions, the page gives fans an inside look at what's coming. Titles covered include major sequels like Sakura Wars 2, Thou Shalt Not Die, Dragon Force 2 and Lunar, Eternal Blue, alongside fighting game heavy hitters such as Darkstalkers 3 and The King of Fighters 97, and arcade ports like The House of the Dead. Development statuses vary, with some highly anticipated titles like Sakura Wars 2 and Gungorphon 2 nearing completion and focusing on final touches or specific modes. Others, like Lunar, Eternal Blue, are noted for character design evolution, while fighting games like Darkstalkers 3 highlight extensive character rosters. The reporters provide concise updates and their thoughts, expressing excitement for realistic zombie movements in House of the Dead, praising the visuals of Linkle Liver Story, and anticipating the story expansion in Dragon Force 2. Many games are progressing well, building anticipation for their release, although some are still early in development or have uncertain statuses. This page previews the Sega Ages release of Power Drift, featuring arcade racing and a new Grand Prix mode, alongside Himitsu Sentai Metamol V, a unique adventure game with transforming heroes and keyword-based special attacks. This page previews a variety of upcoming Sega Saturn titles. At the top left is Ayakashi Ninden Kunoichi Ban Plus, a simulation game where you play as a Ninja Academy graduate tasked with guarding 3 princesses, raising their skills, and undertaking missions. The game focuses on the relationships and growth of the girls you protect. To the right is Karyotas, a 3D polygon action game. Players use special moves to defeat enemies on arena-like stages that vary in layout and incorporate dynamic elements. The preview also showcases a selection of characters from the game's roster of 21, highlighting their unique designs. On the bottom left is Moteke Tamago with Ganbare no Monohashi, a charming top-down action game perfect for easy play. The goal is to collect scattered eggs while dealing with rivals and stage obstacles. It features fun items and dash attacks, and supports frantic 4-player simultaneous battles, with stage layouts changing for competitive play. Finally, the bottom right features Winning Post 3, the latest entry in the popular horse racing simulation series. It adds new elements, like real jockeys, and focuses on the realism of bloodlines and racing conditions. A section is dedicated to highlighting the enhanced race scenes, which now include voice commentary and cheering from popular voice actors, adding excitement to the races presented from TV broadcast-like angles. This page previews upcoming games and a new service. Koei's historical simulation, Nobunaga's Ambition. Shoseiroku focuses on beginner-friendly tutorials and historical event sequences. Decisive Battle 2, with its power-up kit, offers Pacific War naval strategy with expanded scenarios. Idle Mahjong Final Romance 4 is an arcade mahjong game with 11 unique characters and various modes. Finally, the New Arrivals Information Bureau introduces TDC, a new service providing gaming tips, maps, and potentially social interaction via phone and fax, impacting gaming information access. Updates on Real Sound 2 and Sakura Taisen 2 are also mentioned. This page presents the official Sega Saturn new title lineup calendar, giving players a look at upcoming releases. The calendar is organized by month and specific release dates, with helpful indicators showing which titles are newly listed in this calendar and which have had their release details updated. It features extensive lists of games with their publishers and prices, covering releases from February onwards, including a substantial section for titles where the release date is yet to be decided. The lineup includes a wide variety of genres, from popular fighting games like Vampire Savior and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, to role-playing games such as Shining Force 2i Scenario 3 and Dungeons & Dragons Collection. Other notable titles include the highly anticipated Sakura Taisen, part of the Saturn Collection, and the survival horror hit Resident Evil. This comprehensive listing provides Saturn owners with a clear view of the exciting software support planned for the console. This page announces the next issue of Sega Saturn Fan Magazine will be released on February 27th. It previews upcoming titles like Sakura Taisen 2, The House of the Dead, Dragon Force 2, Neon Genesis Evangelion, Iron Maiden, and strategy guides for Burning Rangers. The main focus is on the arcade shoot-'em-up Battle Garega, which is coming to the Sega Saturn on February 26th for 5,800 yen. Touted as an intense STG with a perfect arcade port, it promises faithful gameplay and screen options. Also highlighted is a budget re-release of the fantastic shooter Tsukyu Gurentai, Crimson Squadron,
now available for a lower price of 2,800 yen. This budget version excitingly includes a playable demo of Battle Garega.
Both titles are published by Electronic Arts. The page also features a small collection of reader-submitted illustrations of characters from various Saturn games.
This page is a full-page advertisement for the Sega Saturn strategic simulation game Mobile Suit Gundam, Girin's Greed. It prominently features artwork of Girin Zabi, with his famous line, "Rise, citizens!" announces the game's April 9th release date, and lists the estimated price as 6,800 yen.
It also highlights the illustration work by Yoshikazu Yasuhiko and a bonus original jacket drawn by him.